Hey, what's up? I am Mike Hranica from the Devil Wears Prada, and you are listening to Interview Under Fire.
All right. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Interview Under Fire. This is your beloved host, the one and only Sonny here. And today I have the honor of speaking with the immensely talented Mike Hranica. Man, thank you so much for joining our IUF series today, dude. Bro, here we are. I mean, an exciting time of the year for you and the rest of the guys over at the Devil Wears Prada with the release of your latest album, Color Decay, setting to drop on September 16th on Solid State Records. I want to begin, man, by congratulating you on reaching 17 years of the Devil Wears Prada, man, and all the well-deserved recognition you guys have been getting over the years. 8 albums now cemented into this impressive, the discography of the band. I mean, I still remember when Des Moines was playing in my buddy's car that night back in like 2009. I'm a sentimental person, Mike, if you haven't known already. There's just so much to discover about this banger of an album and what you're all about. Now, before we get to all that and beyond, right? Let's exhale. First off, how are you? I know you're in the middle of a touring cycle, man. I mean, you guys have been touring nonstop, and at least in the last 12 months. I can't imagine it feels more like a blur, or the fact that you guys are touring so heavily that the word pandemic at this juncture just gives you PTSD at this point.
Yeah, it feels like we're mostly past that, which is
Yeah.
certainly a refresher to say the least. But yeah, just kind of picking up for last lost ground. Obviously we released the act and COVID hit and everything, so got cut short, but create our own momentum off Z2 and into Color Decay, and things are going well. Just yelling a whole bunch of songs every night. Nothing new.
Hey, that's yelling a whole bunch of songs, man. That's what you're all about. I feel like live music is back, maybe even better than ever. I mean, have you had the chance, Mike, to take all this in, considering what we've all been through these last 2 years? I feel like that's an important question to ask because, we had this thing that we love the most. You're doing what you're doing. I'm doing what I'm doing, talking to amazing people like you. It was taken away from us, and now it's back. Do you have a new sense of, I don't know, appreciation for the live concert music? I know I do, but for someone like you who's been at this for as long as you have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I haven't really sat with it too much, but it was a bizarre thing. I mean, I think it was more. It feels like the shutdown was much like so long ago, but the
Yeah.
transition out felt so recently, and I think the shutdown was honestly easier than the transition out. And I don't know if that's just I don't know, sort of time just kind of padding it for us now, but it is certainly be great to be back doing what we've always done, and just I think worldwide enjoying culture again, and doing what we love in terms of people getting to go to, whether it's music or sporting events or whatever
Mhm.
it is, getting to come together and as humanity do what we've always done.
I want to reference your song "Time" in all this because this has been one of the heavy hitters as of late. Really interesting. I love the reference of that song. I believe you said that time itself moves incredibly fast, but it moves incredibly slow. I mentioned 17 years, right? I want to turn the clock back here, Mike, to maybe 2005, maybe even before that, because our listeners here on IUF already know how much of a nostalgic person I am. But have you ever just stopped to look back on that time in your life during the band's early days and that Cornerstone Festival, right? Where this all began. You've seen the lineup changes throughout the years, and here we are. Does it feel like everything kind of just went by in a blink at the same time? We've had a chance to reflect the last 2 years. I know I have with the pandemic. Did you look back like old videos from Devil Wears Prada? It's like, man, that shit is crazy.
I mean, I don't know. I've never tried to, like, when people ask about the band, like, when was it you made it, or when was it that you
Hmm.
knew the band was successful? I'm like, well, I don't know. That just feels so complacent and standstill to be like, oh,. Well, it's done. I did it. So I kind of never really manage my perspective in those terms. But lately, we have a Dying Wish opening this tour, is a really awesome
Oh
band,
yeah.
and they're pretty young, and I think that's been the only bit of little nostalgia about being young is when we were opening tours, and I've been thinking about it like that was the first time playing Montreal. A few days ago, we just got back from Canada, and I was like, wow. I'm like trying to think the first time I went to Montreal and whatnot, and like um, we kicked off the tour at the Rave there in Milwaukee where I live, and they had a poster up, and it had I think 18 times we played there, and I
Damn.
was pretty sure there were dates in there that we had played, and they didn't even have on the poster. So it's like, when you think about like the first time you're at Montreal, and then you're like, okay, so how many times have you played Montreal? And I wouldn't, I'd be off by like 10, I'm sure, if I were to take a guess. So um, yeah, I mean, as far as just being a dumb kid that was 16 years old, going to high school and working at Dairy Queen to now this
I worked at
freaking
Brahms
old,
as my first job, so I can relate.
yeah, being this old arthritic man at 33 now. It's again, it's that elasticity, and it went fast, but some days it feels like forever.
Yeah, it's like that movie, The Butterfly Effect. You just look at a number and it just takes you back to that time. One of the things that makes the Devil Wears Prada is the live presence that you guys put on stage. I remember seeing you guys destroy the So What Fest back here in Dallas a couple months ago. And I missed you guys. I saw you guys from the balcony. I was like, who is that? And I was like, oh gosh, I'm missing the Devil Wears Prada. And here's the thing, Mike. I ask a lot of questions about chemistry between members of the same band because I find those kinds of stories really interesting. But in this case, you kind of helped me segue into this because I want to talk about the chemistry between the different bands you've recently toured with. I mean, Straight from the Path and Dying Wish right now, right? But bro, Beartooth, We Came as Romans, Silverstein, this list goes on and on. There's been a lot of genre bending between you guys. I mean, hardcore punk, emo, metalcore, new metal, alternative. Do you think it takes chemistry to make tours like these work?
Um, I mean, it certainly helps for a tour to go well, and to come off the tour and be like, "Hey, I respect who I was just supporting,"
Yeah.
or I respect who just opened the tour. I respect Silverstein, the 3 or 4 band in that situation. But um, I don't know. It's when people always ask about chemistry within a band and whatnot, I'm always very proud to say, like people make life changes, and people have always considered like such a downer to like have lineup changes when like the way we see it is like, the guys that have worked their asses off to be playing tunes with us now,
Mm-hmm.
um, being the newest, being Kyle, Jeremy, and or Kyle, Giuseppe, and Mason, is like, well, they've always wanted to play music, and they've got to a point where they get to do it professionally now. Like that's all the chemistry you need,
Yeah,
But
very true.
it is weird, there can be a world of different dichotomies within different bands, and different bands that will like exist together forever and all hate their singer, or like the awkward guy, like the man out is pretty weird. I think everybody has it, but I think one of the positives that have come out of COVID is that I think there's less competition from band to band these days, where I think back to like Warp Days, and it was kind of like keeping up with the Joneses as far as like who sold more merch and all this. And these days it's kind of like, like it's sick for a band to be selling a ton of tickets, and it's sick
Mm-hmm.
for us to be able to support the band selling a bunch of tickets, and all those tickets get to watch our band. So um, the level of chemistry is important. It's like any relationship, as cliche as that is, as far as how much it comes down to communication. But at the same time, like it's not really what you want to do is communicate, when you're a bunch of gnarly band dudes and whatnot, but got to keep on the same page and, share ambitions.
Yeah, and I want to segue into before I get into the music a little bit further. There are two things in my life I love aside from the music, Mike. If you haven't noticed, I'm drinking coffee out of my Spice Girls mug, so judge me all you want, all right? I love coffee and I love hockey. Tell me about Dogma coffee and tell me about Hacksaw hockey. That really rhymes. I was not planning on that. How have both of those things been going? I know that's something that you independently take part in aside from the music with Devil Wears Prada, right?
It is, yeah. I got involved with coffee when I moved to Chicago in my late teens. Um, I came into a totally different world of coffee, as far as growing up in Dayton and,
Yeah.
um, you know, parents drinking Folgers in the morning. And a friend of mine, I remember we'd go get Waffle House coffee. I've always loved coffee, but through the years, I got to learn more about it. And basically, after a collaboration the band did with Metric Coffee, one of their owners there offered me a position to basically create my own enterprise and brand to create my own coffee and using their fantastic, amazing system of fulfillment and roasting and everything. So it's been fun. It's been a little slow, kind of keeping up the momentum and whatnot. We've been working on a collaboration. We like to collaborate with bands, labels, and we've collaborated with the guitar pedal companies and such too. But like, um, it's been a little hard keeping the momentum, but we're sitting on one drop that I really look forward to. And then during COVID, just having downtime, I get terribly anxious when I don't have things to do. And
Hmm.
I've had this idea for a long time that I wanted to make hockey jerseys, and it didn't feel right for Dogma Coffee, and I just couldn't figure out what it could be or what made sense. And then I came together with one of my best friends who's a photographer. He shoots the band a lot. He shot the cover of Z2. He shot like the Space EP and everything. And um, I was like, like the photography side is where I need help, and we sourced
Yeah.
design and everything. And yeah, that's been more active in my life outside of Prada as far as just creating high quality, non super cheeseball hockey apparel for people that either play or love the game, and using our voice and try to create a platform for people to grow the game who've been underserved by the game, as it's such a classically white dude sport. The more the merrier, and we're trying to use our building our brand to open those voices up for everyone. So Hacksaw Hockey's been it's been amazing. I it's a lot of work. I sit here on my laptop many days frustrated trying to figure things out, but
Hmm.
it's a labor of love, as they say.
It's really cool to see how other things feed into your creativity on making music. You said you're from Chicago. You mentioned Chicago. Are you a Blackhawks fan? I feel like I have to ask that.
No, no. So I
Okay,
was
we're
born.
good. I'm a Stars fan, so we're fine.
Yeah, I do not like the Blackhawks. I like the Blackhawks for a little bit living there, but I'm born Pittsburgh. So
Okay, hey, all respect to the Penguins, man. I'm okay with that. We're on opposite sides of the conference, so we're fine.
that's
But
true. We haven't really battled it out.
I feel like we got to talk about this forever because coffee is one thing. It's taken over my life, man. I remember I went to film school. I made a short film making fun about hipsters about coffee. It turns out that it's the real thing. So I remember I showed my friend. He's from Austin. Austin's like as hipster you can get for coffee, and they're
Right.
like, I don't get it. I'm like, this is funny, right? No, this is I get it. That's what I do at a shop. Oh, so and this is like 7 years ago. So who knows? I mean, I'm trying to now. It's really crazy because the knowledge, like the community of like coffee, it's just getting bigger and bigger. I'm getting more educated about it. I wonder, are you bringing Dogma coffee like something like this with you on tour to sell? I wonder.
No, we've never sold Dogma on tour. Sometimes we have it on the bus. We've got a
I'll be first in line.
appreciate it. We've got a Bonavita on the bus. We had the off day yesterday here in Grand Rapids. We'll play Grand Rapids tonight, which is home of Madcap. So all the
Yeah,
boys have just been drinking it by the gallon. As such fantastic coffee. But yeah, I mean, you don't know, and it has to be, a huge coffee dweeb, but if you want to get into the complexities and the
yeah.
really rich um, culture and community around coffee, have at it.
Just don't ask what is a pour over out in public in Austin. Trust me, I've been there. Don't want to be there again. So now, Mike, we talked about everything. Let's get to Color Decay, man. This dropped September 16th on Solid State Records. Album of the year contender. Okay, before we dive a little further into this new album, this is the follow up to 2019's The Act, like you just mentioned, in 2020's Zombie 2. I mean, bro, you could not have followed those two up any better. I don't know if alone here, but I felt like Color Decay felt like the third phase following those releases because I felt like it was a mix of those two. If anything else, I went back and heard those records, all right, and others. I loved it then. I love it now. you guys, here's the thing, man. You guys have already had albums which have gone to be, recognized as, and I mean it when I say this, influential pieces amongst a lot of the metalcore and hardcore fans today, with roots above and branches below, for example. I'm 2009, right? Des Moines. I mentioned that at the beginning of our interview. It was mentioned as what, one of the five greatest metalcore albums and one of the Revolver Pauls. I mean, you guys have also garnered six consecutive top five debuts on the Billboard Top Hard Rock Albums chart. I mean, a lot of numbers, right? I mean, all the while you guys are piling up 250 million, I mean, cumulative streams and views in the process. You've been here since the beginning, Mike, and despite multiple lineup changes over the years, you've seen the YouTube comments on for a song like Time, for example. The Devil Wears Prada really stood the test of time. You guys have aged like fine wine. The commonality I'm seeing with all these fans commenting, you stayed true to your sound yet evolved. I mean, I don't care who you are, but man, 8 records is not an easy thing to do. Yet here you are. But knowing and being a part of that success that the Devil Wears Prada has been through, does writing get easier, Mike, or does the pressure of so many or several great records make it harder? Loaded question. I'm gonna drink my coffee. I might as well chug it at this point.
No, I appreciate your kind words, friend. Pressure. I don't know. I think that was there. It's been mentioned, it always to me always felt like, you put everything into an album, you finally make it, you have the artwork and everything, and then, you wait for release day, you hope it charts, you want to see where it charts, this and that. But
Mm-hmm.
anymore, like I've kind of just stepped a little further away from the process, and I just kind of look at I guess just the kind of fundamentals of my job as the lyricist vocalist dude. Um, I think that, to your mentioning, like the act to Z2 to Color Decay and like those three together, I think that just really speaks to Jon producing our music and
Mm-hmm.
songwriting and just having more and more of a hand in it. To me, like I think that's the only pressure I feel is working with Jon, as far as like if he sends me an instrumental and if I come back with something that I don't feel really confident about. At the same time, it's never like I'm embarrassed or ashamed or something. Like I'm happy to be turned away. It's happened before. It will continue happening, throughout my entire existence. But um, to me, like I think that's one of the biggest hurdles is kind of just right off the bat, as far as, this record, most of it we did and tracked in a rental property outside of Sky Valley, or in Sky Valley outside of Palm Springs, California. And I think those were the hardest moments, was talking to Jon and working through the songs and making sure they're good there. Because Jon is like such a kind of gut vibe guy.
Yeah.
He knows exactly how to read it, as far as like, does this take more listens? Is my gut just telling me this is bad? Or is this like, yep, that's it? So I think those moments are, I think, any kind of pressure I feel or anything. I could have sworn until I started doing more interviews for Color Decay, this was our seventh record. So like I, I think that my job is what happened in November, December of last year, and constructing these songs and recording the songs back at the ranch we were staying at. So um that's kind of just the way I see it. I don't read YouTube comments. I read a little bit on Instagram here and there, like when I'm commented directly to me, but
Mm-hmm.
um I don't know, the getting too far into that, it's always felt like masochism, and it will be like, okay, I won't let it get to me, but it does like rub
Yeah.
your feathers a little bit. And it just, I don't think it does anything good for me personally or creatively. So I kind of just let all that be, and again put my best foot forward and making the songs, and kind of square one.
And if it gets to you, that's okay. I mean, it shows that you're human. By the way, if anyone doesn't know, Jon Gering, holy shit, he produced this record. He's also your bandmate. I mean, the sound itself, Mike, was a big part of this record that I really loved. I'm an audiophile these days. I'm very picky on how I want my music to sound, the way I want it to sound. I didn't have to mess much with the EQ levels on this one because a lot of that has to do with your bandmate Jon Gering, and I do want to take this moment to recognize him because I felt like there was that level of comfortability for you guys having someone like him working on bringing the Devil Wears Prada sound to life on a record like this, like he knows your sound, he plays with you guys, like he knows you internally. It's not easy to find a producer that just clicks, but I think you found that with this guy, man. Shout out to Jon.
Oh, certainly. Um, he's owed all credit in the world. I'm lucky to not be have done a lot of shitty interviews as of late. But when I do get all cranky and jaded about doing bad interviews, asking generic questions, I'm like, why am I the one answering these questions? It's Jon's record. I'm just the one
I'm
yelling
just
on it.
I'm just a singer, man.
Yeah. But I mean, the way that Jon sees it and kind of his avenue towards Prada is that he can write and does write any kind of tune you want. He can do it in an hour if you want it to sound good. He can do it in 10 minutes if you want it to sound shitty. But he just sees it as like he could do it for anybody and it can do whatever streaming online and whatever. But we've had this long history, and his path to have his songs be played in the forefront comes through the vehicle of the Devil Wears
Mm-hmm.
Prada and the vehicle that is Jeremy and my voice. Um, and that's kind of just how we perceive the band as far as writing a song like Chemical and whatnot. Is like, it's not saying like the Devil Wears Prada went rock. It's saying like how far can the Devil Wears Prada go, and how far can metalcore go? Like that's been
Mm-hmm.
my big awakening. I keep repeating myself is it's not trying to get out of metalcore. It's trying to bring everything into metalcore
Yeah.
and expanding that bubble from the inside. So um, all praise to Jon. He's the mastermind behind all that.
And I appreciate you guys for doing that. Bending the genre. That's what you want to keep growing. That's the best part about all this. And yeah, I want to quote you here. Mike, you said that I believe you can define our band by Color Decay. This album, I when I said holy shit, I meant it because I couldn't stop listening to it. This clocks in a little over 40 minutes. It didn't feel like that. It was brutal yet melodic, crying while headbanging. Can you do a certain thing like that? I felt like that almost to a point that I felt like this album had everything you'd want for not only a Devil Wears Prada fan, but even just a heavy metal fan. You guys matured from songs like Exhibition to Watchtower to Broken, which I think that's my favorite song on the record. I'm still, I'm coming back to that song a lot more. To Time, to the epic closer, Cancer. I mean, the ebbs and flows of this record is such a trip. When you watch like a movie, you're left thinking at the end of what you just watched. I felt like this at the end of like a Marvel movie. Like I wasn't ready for it to end. I was ready for like an extra credit, like getting ready for the next thing. I wonder how much did things change from when you first started composing on Color Decay to where you ended up finishing it? Like, did a lot change in between, or did you already have a specific sound you wanted from day one?
Again, I really appreciate all your kind words, friend. I'll keep saying it. I'm very grateful.
No,
I,
bro. Thank you, man. Are you kidding me? You're one of the reasons why I'm technically alive today. I shouldn't be even here. I mean, for people who don't know, there's a story that Mike already knows about. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, I shouldn't say I can't wait to tell the other guys, but it's gonna blow their brains. Um, the sound, honestly, no, I felt like we were kind of, I didn't know. I knew Jon was writing. I knew that Jeremy had done like some demo tracking over the instrumentals that Jon had.
Mhm.
But until he sent over the first two songs to me, which were Sacrifice and Trapped, I didn't know they were that far along. Um, both of which, both of those, well, Jon had a good bit of like the intro verse in there. I'm trying to think of the extent of what he completed before
Yeah.
sending it to me. He did both choruses. Um, but really, I pepper in the verses, like our workflow. Like the next song we did was Watchtower, and he basically sends me an instrumental. And if he doesn't have a vocal or a lyric for the chorus, he writes melodies. I do not. I've written very, very, very few melodies in this band over the course of the years with Jeremy, but um, he just kind of murmurs and sings these like just whatever, and I write a lyric and send it back to him. And Watchtower was actually, I think, maybe one of the easiest songs. It was just like that, which is why it got released second too as our second single and whatnot. But no, really, I just felt like I would hear different songs and I'd be like, okay, that's where I want to take this vocally if there's nothing that John started with lyrics. Um, Especially when I think of like 25, like I heard that, I'm like, oh, this is very obviously a breakup song, which it is lyrically. And I hallucinate was actually a leftover, very sort of bare bones Z2 demo that didn't
So
turn
that's my second favorite on the record. I was a shout out to Hallucinate. That was closer to the end of the album, but man, another great piece for by you guys. Anyway, sorry.
No, thank you, thank you. Hallucinate's one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the workflow to it, and um, the sort of sound. Like some of the things that we talked about that didn't really come up so much later was John saying like, "What does like present day grunge look like?" Or if you said like, "What's future
Hmm.
grunge?" And I don't. If you listen to Color Decay, I think grunge is the last word that would ever come to mind.
But what
But
did you
when you,
just say? You said you wanted to bring things into metalcore.
yeah,
That's,
exactly, exactly.
you know?
And when you hear like if you want to like again as like an audiophile, if you want to listen to the layers of guitars and Cancer and the fact that it's like upbeat chords, but it's just sludged in like fuzzed guitars, really
Yes.
little guitars panned here and there and whatnot. Like it's kind of like what these like, two slow chords were back like early 90s grunge or whatever, So like in terms of the sound, like that was something for us to think about, but I think I think we've been trying to go far different places for a long time, thinking back to like Chicago on Dead Throne or songs like 818 on 818 and such. And we've always forced that in. It's always one of my personal favorite moments of our albums. And then, come Color Decay, I think it's just,
Hmm.
I don't want to sound too cocky and say it's like prolific, but that's a huge part of the album is the
No,
ebbs and
it's okay.
flows.
Please be. It's okay to be cocky. It's, bro. Listen to what everything I just said about this album. You were kind of just crossing all the T's for me. It's you guys have really checked off that mental list in my head when I listen. I come from a family of musicians, Mike. Both of my brothers are producers. My mom's a professional music artist. She's a singer. So I know these things when I hear the production side of the album. Thank you for sharing, by the way. I know, and if it wasn't clear already, this podcast is going to be on all major streams. Having said that, anyone out there, hire Jon Gering because he's fucking amazing. If it
He's
wasn't
available for
obvious,
hire.
he is. Between by the way, Giuseppe, I think this is the best work I've ever heard from your drummer, Giuseppe. Holy shit. Guitar melodies and riffs were crushing, hypnotic. Bass lines felt like the heartbeat of this album. I mean, the synths and the keys really added to an already emotional record. And then you, I mean, I don't know how you keep doing this all these years, Mike. I mean, your vocals just keep getting better and better and better. Again, I come from a family of musicians. I noticed that between writing and then structuring the songs and the production process, like we just talked about, the lyricism throughout Color Decay, the bulk of it, references the, what is it, the disintegration and discoloration you experience from daily struggles, mental health, getting older, dealing with it. Man, oh man, I'm 33. This really hit me. I mean, literally, literally last year, obviously, you already know. I mean, you have a song like Sacrifice, right? And that's a song of defeat also. Nothing left to fight for. I began to think of the tangibles of a theme or a message to your music. Is that a big component of songwriting for a band like the Devil Wears Prada? Are themes important to you, Mike? You specifically.
Well, certainly, yeah. I think that there's a lot of regrettable content through our early work. And I think the thing that was most avoidable on my part was that these songs all lyrically blended together. I'd basically have notebooks full of just one liners and you could throw it in any song. And I kind of did that. A part of John's discipline in doing what we do is making sure that, these songs aren't just saying, like, I woke up this morning feeling bad. Like, where's the depth, where's the color
Mm-hmm.
to it, where's the visuals to it. I think that goes very specific. I think that's just about the hardest part of writing songs these days, at least Prada songs, is having these moments that we want to explore and talk about that you can fledge out entirely into a piece. So yeah, I mean, if the song isn't, John, just like the way it works is like if if you're not like talking about something, then what's the point? What's your song? It's
Hmm.
nothing. It doesn't mean anything. So, what are the themes we're gonna tackle? What are we gonna talk about? And one of the challenges, and it's very much a challenge for me, is someone that's always been very like truly cathartic with my writing, is trying to write for circumstances bigger than my own, and circumstances that can speak to more people than really just myself. And I think a song like Trapped does that very well, and different moments here and there, even like Noise, where I wrote all the lyrics to, at least I recall, Don't Kill Me John. Um like it's like the song is like kind of being scared of success, or scared of like
Hmm.
your dreams coming true almost, in a way, and whatnot. um and it's structured in such a way that it's not just me talking about something specific. It's meant to be sung to, same as like the big moments at the end of time and whatnot. Like, these are moments that are meant for more people than just me, and that's something I've never really had, as silly as that might sound. So that's a part of the themes that's become more important for the band. And um, but yeah, to answer your question, themes are important, certainly.
Yeah, man. Mike, we're approaching the last part of our interview. We're going to get to that surprise here in a second, but I know we've covered a good amount of ground on this awesome interview. It's conversation, man. I feel like we need like a beer or something. I'm drinking coffee, or coffee. That's what we need. But thank you so much for sharing about who you are, and really, really, and and what Devil Wears Prada is all about. Representing Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, Chicago, in the form of display of art that you guys are, from the different experiences and perspectives in your timeline you have taken and which you've discussed about, right? And performing for as long as you have, and the people you have met and worked with doing these amazing records. I mean, touring, the growing fan base, 8 albums,
Not seven.
in almost 2 decades, bro. 2025 is right around the corner. All right. I mean, I'm time. You see, time. That's been a commonality in this interview. It's one thing that I'm just focusing on as I get older. I'm sure you see it too. I've always been excited, to see where you guys go from one point to the next. And I feel no different this time around. There's definitely a level of inspiration to what you are doing here, Mike. I mean, you were a prominent band when I was in high school, going into college. You still are today. Look at the fans. Look at the fans that you're going to see out there tonight. Have your aspirations as a musician, or hell, as a human being, have they changed or evolved since when you first started performing in the industry? Like, do you see things differently today?
um yeah, definitely. um it's hard to mark my aspirations so much, because again, like, I've never wanted to like kind of kick my feet up on anything. Like,
Hmm.
there's never like turn the corner or finish day 20 and that means you're successful or something. So I don't know. I've always just aspired, I guess, to, I mean, the reason I joined the band wasn't because I wanted to like be a singer or something. It's because I liked writing lyrics, and this was the medium or the vehicle for me to be able to write, as I've always enjoyed doing so, even since being a little kid. But um, I like going places. I always wear myself out saying, but if the Prada never went back to Europe, I'd probably have to call it quits, because I love being overseas and just walking in the rain or whatever the day might hold. Just walk in for miles and miles in Prague or Paris, and um, I think maybe that's my aspirations. Like anyone, I'd be lying if I didn't say I was a bit jaded or get bitter with the industry or the way people kind of go
Hmm.
about making tunes now. Like, people always ask, like, how, like, what's it take to like be in a good or like make it or something, and I'm always like, just work on the music. Like, it's so like, yeah, like your media presence or social media and everything has to be through the roof to get noticed and everything, but like, if you're spending way more time on that than your tunes, it's like, and I kind of get distracted with that sometimes, or I get bitter about it. But I guess that's how I've become rather jaded with things here and there. But at the same time, like, I am performing music and writing music, and that's been again something that I kind of just fell into joining this band, and nothing I ever really want to kick my feet up and go like, look at me, look what I'm doing, look what this is tonight. Look at September 1st back in Dallas and shit. Um,
I can't wait. That's gonna be at the same venue too. Holy shit, right?
yeah, I can't wait as well. Dallas shows have been some of our
They're
best of
so
our
crazy,
career.
dude. I
Yeah.
still remember how crazy the So What. I'm seeing you guys just from the balcony. We were in the press room. By the way, you were standing right next to me. You probably didn't even know, but when you were in the press room, I was there, and I was like, "That's Mike." All right. Anyway, but bro, it's there's I mean, being humble too, But I want to remind you, you're doing great things, Mike. I want you to keep doing what you're doing because you're impacting people like me, other people in the crowd who are just happy to be here too, because we need more Devil Wears Prada in our life. But much appreciated everything you've done. I think it's also easy to lose track of yourself the more successful you are, and along the way, I think sometimes it's okay to push everything back and kind of just look at it from the outside, refocus on yourself, and then just go back into it with a different purpose, a refined purpose almost. I've seen it with friends. They've lost themselves along the way. So, and you've had that level-headedness that I really appreciate. So I mentioned that level of inspiration, but anyway, I'm drawing the line between being a fan and being a journalist. Apologize. All right, bro.
No,
It's just,
no. Thank you.
but
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
no, thank you. All right, now we've been serious. Let's get to the fun part. All right, we're gonna end our interview on a really cool note here. I don't think you've ever done this before, so I think this is what you've been waiting for the whole time, huh? I can
I
tell.
am curious.
I'm gonna do something here called the hot seat.
Hot seat.
I'm gonna see if you know the lyrics to your own songs. You up for that challenge?
Oh, I'm gonna fail.
Here's the thing. I get this every time. I have artists who tell me I'm gonna fail, and they get every single song right. And then some artists will say, "Oh, I'll get every single one of them right," and they get every single one of them wrong. It's always the other way. It's never. It's so crazy when I hear that. So I handpicked a select for you. I promise. I'm gonna start you off easy. I'm not gonna go in order. I got some deep cuts in there, so let's see. If anything, I'm making you rethink your set list. Just a heads up. So here we go. Ready? You're
As
good. All right,
ready as I'll ever be.
here we go, man. And it's like poetry when I'm reading this because I was going back. I've been struck by lightning. I've vanished, gone with a glacier because it's the opposites that I can't accept. This collision, certain death.
This is yeah. I will remember a new tune. I'm not that bad. That's we've been playing it, and I've kind of actually messed up the verses a number of nights, as far as time moves like lightning, and then time's moving like lightning, or I've been struck by the lightning. I keep talking about the same things in different words, and it's become a challenge. Um, but playing new songs is always great.
That is time. If anyone who's keeping count back home. All right, next one. Uh, you have no problem finding me, although you only commit unintentionally. I do it for the Lord. I do it for. Help me with this.
Chicago.
Yeah, there we go. Death Throne from 2011. See, you got this. You're doing good. Here we go.
I thought it was going to be like plague song names, which I
Uh,
couldn't read you probably four plagues names. So
it's coming though. Not a whole bunch, but it's coming. Here we go. I can hear the questions now. Since journalism died somehow, the shout proclaimed, the poison praised. They make my words an unmarked grave. You see, it's like poetry. I'm reading it. I just feel like I could, like it's like a lullaby, reading it a kid to sleep. Maybe not those words, but
you gave me another easy one there because it is praise poison.
Uh,
Haven't thought.
think 2016 and think title track.
Oh, oh, yeah. It's not praise poison. It's just that I throw back the lyric. Yeah, it's a transit blues there at
Hell
the
yeah.
end.
There we go.
Yep.
Transit Blues 2016. All right. You called it. No measure of weight can justify what now presses into my chest. To the road, your freedom is awesome, but it does compare to the sweet embrace of my love.
uh, it's the crap song. C is for There's no.
You can't spell crap without C. Plagues 2007. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the only song I picked. So you're good. All right, here we go. Moving along. You won't say a word. Why won't you look my way? As we gaze through the window, the ash storm. Yeah, man, I didn't even have to finish that. The Act 2019. All right, I think you know this song was coming. Forward Can't Be Stopped. Should I ever read it? Anything else from that?
Yeah, Des Moines.
With roots above and branches below.
Played that one once or twice.
I play that on Guitar Hero, man. I'm still good at that on Expert. All right. Between Sharks and Kings, it doesn't matter much to
Sailor's
me.
Prayer.
Man, look at this. What did I tell you, man? You said you wouldn't be good at this.
I feel like these are singles or something. I think you're taking it easy on me.
Well, let's see about this next one. This is the last one. I'm going to read just one line. All right.
Okay.
Here lies my pride. Don't come back.
Oh, shit. Gauntlet of Solitude.
Dear Love, a Beautiful Discord, 2006. All right, I'm going to give you a round of applause, Mike, when this airs, because you did awesome. You got every single song. That was 8 songs. That's
well,
like
I jumped the gun on the Transit Blues Praise Poison one.
Yeah, I guess, but I didn't give you the name. You got the song. Don't worry. bro, this has been such an honor. Thank you so much for doing this with me, man. Bro, do you have any like last words, just any shout outs, anything else you'd like to plug and mention as far as Devil Wears Prada, new album, your coffee, hockey, whatever you want to say before we finish things off here?
No, I can't say thank you enough for all the kind words. Thank you for being a quality journalist and not giving me the old "what's your band name" mean rundown. But thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for all the kind words on Color Decay. Anyone out there listening, come see us on tour. Check out the tunes. If you love hockey, or if you don't love hockey, check out Hacksaw Hockey.
No love to the Blackhawks. But
no love to the Blackhawks.
I think me and Mike agree on that to the same degree here. So I appreciate that, bro.
I'm with you there.
And make sure, go ahead. I was going to say, like, because that zombie tour with Dying Wish and Straight from the Path, you guys are touring with some great people, by the way.
It's great touring with good bands.
Yeah, and I'll by the way, I haven't mentioned this. I'm going to give a shout out to also Stephanie Cosenza. I know she's a friend of you guys.
Yeah, Cozy.
Yeah, so Cozy is actually one of the reasons why I'm here today. I became a photographer because of her. So she's actually an influential person for me. So anyway,
shout out to her. Will be at the Dallas show.
Yeah, I will see her. I can't wait. Shout out to love you, Cozy. So you're amazing. Don't everyone who's listening, don't forget to check out Devil Wears Prada. They're on tour with Dying Wish and Straight from the Path. They'll be here in Dallas September 1st at Southside Music Hall, where it all happened last year. Can't wait. The suspense is building. But Color Decay drops on September 16th through Solid State Records. Do us a favor, buy the record because the bands can't do it without your help. Mike, I'm still old fashioned. I'll still buy records that's sitting in the corner of my room. I still have my VCR in the other side of the house. VCR. All right. That's still a thing. All right.
Oh, I back it.
And you can listen to this podcast on all major podcast streams out there. Check us out at interviewunderfire.com. Mike Hranica, much love, brother. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Go crush it tonight, man. Think about everything we said and try to remember those lyrics when you're on stage. All right.
Appreciate you, friend.
All right, brother. Stay in touch. I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Interview Under Fire podcast. If you guys liked what you heard, please subscribe and share our channel. And please leave a 5-star review as that helps us tremendously. If you'd like to check out more, visit www.interviewunderfire.com or our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And finally, we want to thank you all for the support you've been giving us. Keep it burning.